I'm Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks. It's a weekly and monthly newsletter publication. I'm also the host of a radio show called Turning Hard Times into Good Times that airs every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum in Toronto. It is March 2nd, 2019, and I'm really pleased to be with Peter Tallman. He's the president and CEO of Klondike Gold Corp. It's a company that I picked up in my newsletter a couple of years back. It's a company that is actually, for the first time in history, using modern exploration strategies to try to understand where the great Klondike placer gold came from. And they're making a lot of progress. It is a huge target. It's a huge project. It's some 55 kilometers in strike length. Just a lot of good news has come out of there, although I don't think the markets have gotten terribly excited about it. But from a geologist's point of view and from the point of view of people who follow this industry, there's some really good news that has been coming out of the Klondike Gold Corp story. Thanks for joining me, Peter. It's really good to catch up with you again.
It's a pleasure.
Where did all this placer gold come from? It didn't come from the sky. It came from the mountains, the higher areas around it. Nobody really looked at it. In fact, some people thought that maybe it had all eroded away and it was all gone. And when you were asked to take a professional look at this, you said no, it's an orogenic deposit, an orogenic gold system, and so therefore there's probably an awful lot left. Now you have a 55 kilometer strike length. You started to explore this thing. You're looking at it as kind of a coffee, pretty much like the coffee project that was sold to Gold Corp recently. Update us, tell us what you've learned in 2018 and what your plans are to try to pull this thing together in 2019. It won't be done in 2019, I recognize that.
Not at all.
But what can we look forward to in 2019?
Well, I guess the 2018 was the fourth year, kind of a culmination of doing basic geoscience. Mm-hmm. And again, having to go back and document the fact that there actually is gold in the bedrock there. It did not fall from Mars, which was one of the theories. It was all eroded away. Again, that was geologically untenable. And so proved that there is gold in mineable, potentially, economic grades over potentially mineable widths. And we were looking for, really the investment thesis, is there 1 million ounces or more somewhere? And so in 2018, again, going back to the original concept, there seemed to be a fault that ran through the entirety of the Klondike district that had not been recognized before I got involved. And so we documented that. We flew an airborne, detailed, specifically trying to image that fault, and we did. Yeah. And that really provides the first order control to the gold mineralization. Again, this year we did a lot of, it was kind of PhD level structural and lithologic research that documented another orogenic or another fault system that had not been previously recognized, that was younger than all the other faults. And that's the one that's introducing gold into the Klondike. And it's also the same set of faults now that is documented in the white gold district and also the gold controls at Coffee.
Interesting. And
so the three, Klondike district, the white gold district, and the Coffee district are in fact the same district.
Wow. The
mineralization in that, they're all controlled by the same structures, and it's probably all the same age.
Right.
And so that's also a result of the research this year. We also did a district scale soil survey. So it's very coarse space, 400 meter lines, 50 meter soils. That was 5,000 or 6,000 samples. And out of that, we've got 7 brand new anomalies without anyone ever having had a rock sample out of them. But they're situated in places that explain the alluvial gold placers in the creeks. And so we're beginning, the initial premise, I think we explained where the Bonanza Creek alluvial gold came from. It comes from Lone Star, that's our primary zone. El Dorado Creek, we found multiple sources of gold that explain the placers there. And now we're going into all the other placer creeks and going, well, this soil anomaly, if there's something there, explains that too.
Interesting.
So we do have a geologic framework and a structural framework, and now we have gold targets. And so I think we've made vast leaps forward in terms of the understanding of where the gold is, and we think it looks exactly like coffee, actually.
Well, you certainly have. The issue that I have with this, Peter, is good news is bad news in the sense that sense that it delays the time when, I mean, the more you look, the more you find, which is fine, except that I'm 72 years old this month, and I would like to see my shares of your company be worth a lot before I go to the other world.
I'll be very happy when we get over the PDAC, the Metal Investor Forum, and the PDAC, and we have a way of prioritizing. And so we are still going, the threshold, what we're looking for is 2 million ounces. And the fastest, we want to get there as quickly as possible. They may be low quality ounces, it doesn't matter, we just get over a 2 million ounce threshold, at which point we have something that's of substance, and after that we can go look at some of these other things. The danger is we may not be drilling the best yet, and it's, you know what, we're just going to go with it for now. I also don't want to get too much older, so we're going to push. You're
a lot younger than I, but anyway, we want time value of money, right? Present value.
That's right.
That's always the issue, whether you're old or not. So you have, so where are you going to try to find these 2 million ounces? Is it in one location or a couple of different targets?
The first hole we ever drilled in the property was on a thing called Gay Gulch, and that was 76 grams over 3 meters. Ooh. So that's White Gold's Vertigo target. They reported theirs as 25 grams over 10. Well, it's the same thing in the same structure. We have that. We're going to test that. We're going to go back to Nugget because we think there's resources there. We're going to continue to drill Lone Star. So we think we can mix the high grade and the low grade is what I'm saying. And we think that there is high grade within the Klondike. So far, investors have been patient as we drill our low grade disseminated stuff, but we're going to go back targeting higher grades too.
Yeah, that was good news when you came out with the knowledge that you got dissemination outside of the veins, and that was good news in the sense that it can mean
it's easier to get to 2 million ounces with that.
Right. So you just raised some money, and you raised more, and I think you probably have enough to take you through 2019 now. A pretty aggressive program.
And if we close all that, we haven't quite closed it, that's coming next Friday, but if so, then we'll have money for 2020 as well.
2020 as well. And
or dramatically accelerate what we do.
If you start hitting some really good stuff, you might accelerate. The share price probably would respond in a decent gold market.
We want a gold market to do that.
Yeah, and I think we're there. I'm optimistic on that score. So who owns your company? How tightly? You've got something like 110 million shares after your raise?
So Frank Juster and Eric Sprott are headline shareholders, somewhere around 14–15% each. They are maintaining their proportion with this financing. Insiders on it, so collectively insiders and very close listed friends, we own half of the company.
Okay.
So there really is a float of some 60 million shares out of the 110, 120 that we will have issued.
I certainly think that once you can start to demonstrate scale, that people will start paying attention. I know that the major mining companies are well aware of your project. I believe they are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a technical conference that you had up in the Yukon recently, you told me that there were a lot of people that were from major companies that were quite interested in your story. When you finally start to show scale and grade and something that people can, us common folks can start to look at economics and think in terms of economics, that's a ways away yet. But you might have a resource when, do you think?
Soonest in 2 years.
2 years. And that would be with the goal of getting up to 10.
We are looking at trying to accelerate. I want to look at the economics and do preliminary economic assessment work. And the other thing is we really are, we're reacting the same way Kaminak went, which was, it was kind of a flat share price for many, many years, 4 or 5, and then it took off.
That was a rocket.
And we're getting there.
Right. I believe you are. Peter, thank you very much for your time.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Great to catch up with this story because I think it's going to be a good one. Thank you very much.
Thanks.